Hey, what is up guys, InseDinsCirqueSG here. Alright, so this is the Zeal deck profile that I promised after the tripod opening video, and here it is now. Alright, so I don't have my playmat with me sadly, and yeah. So this is my Dimensional Police Zeal deck that I got from my friend Brian. He usually plays on Team Vanguard Squad like TCG. You guys can go check them out. I'll leave a link to their channel in the description below. And yep, so a little bit of backstory about Zeal. Zeal is more of a evil kaiju side to Dimension Police, and it instead of Vanguard adding power, it focuses on minusing the opponent's power. So essentially it's like your Vanguard gaining power, but a lot more twisted and evil. So again, I'll start with the main deck first before going on to the strike deck. So for starters, I run Larvae of Destruction Zeal. This is a right chain deck, so right chain has to have the grade 0. Now for the grade 3s, I run 3 copies of Galactic Beast Zeal. This is the grade 3 Zeal card. Yep, from 08. And 3 copies of New Era of Destruction Zeal. This is the Legion Master for the Zeal. So pretty interesting concept, I would say. Next, for the last of the grade 3s, I run 2 copies of Original Saber Zero, the second break right of Dimension Police. Now on to the grade 2s, I run 4 Planet Devourer Zeal, the grade 2 version of the Zeal right chain. Next, I run 3 copies of Combined Monster Bugry. So even though he's a mere 8k, but he's one of your main draw mechanism. Next, I run 3 copies of this monster that I can't remember the name, but he is sort of a very pressurizing card, so pretty good. That's the last of the grade 2s. Now on to the grade 1s, alright. So again, this is a right chain and Legion deck, so a right chain is the grade 1s too, right? 4 copies of Eye of Destruction Zeal. Next, I run 4 copies of Evolution Monster Dwayne. He's like the Odysseus of this deck. You guys remember Odysseus from Ripple? Yeah, so this is basically Odysseus. Next, I run 4 copies of Cosmic Hero Grand Leaf. I usually use him as a Sentinel in this deck. I don't always activate his effect. So yeah. Next, 3 copies of Foxy Charmer. She is one of the new cards that came out in GBT07 for Dimension Police, and she has a pretty simple yet interesting effect. So that's the last of the grade 1s. Now on to the grade 0s, the triggers rather. I run 4 copies of Justice Cobalt, so crits. Next, I run 2 copies of Justice Gold, more crits. One can never get enough crits, right? Next, 2 copies of this Chopper guy as a draw. And now 2 copies of Cosmic Hero Grand Scope. Now we're getting to the stands. And 2 Operator Girl Ericas. Last but not least, the heal triggers, I run Justice Rose. Gotta have some justice in evil. Alright, so that's it. That is it for the main deck. Now on to the strike deck. Hang on while I arrange everything. Okay. For starting G Guardians, I run 1 copy of Enigma Patriot, the standard 20k G Guardian that we all get in every clan, minus token remove. Next, I run 4 copies of X Carrigo. Yes, you guys might be wondering, InseDinsCirqueSG, why are you running more than 4 G Guardians? Well, if I run 5 G Guardians, it maximizes my choice, and if the choice of Patriot or X Carrigo, I can actually decide which is better for that certain situation. Although we don't usually use more than 2 G Guardians per game. I mean, let's face it, 3 maximum. Next, I run 2 copies of Dark Superman Omega. Next, 2 copies of Cat Lady. Next, 2 copies of Origin Light Cross, Super Origin Light Cross something Enigma. Basically, he's a new rare strike from 07. Next, I run 1 copy of X Phoenix. And last but not least, 4 copies of Cosmic Hero Cosmic Hero X Gallop. Yes. So you might be wondering why I'm running X Gallop in this deck. Well, if you did take note of my stand triggers, then you should be able to know why. Alright. So let me get to the effect of the cards. I'll start with them. I'll start with the strike deck first. So Enigma Patriot's effect is very simple. When this unit is placed onto the G Guardian, when this unit is put to the G Guardian circle and your opponent's attack is 20k or more, this unit gains plus 5000 shield. So it's a 20k guard. Next, for X Carrier, when your opponent's Vanguard is 30,000 or more, this unit instantly gains plus 10,000 shield. So it's essentially a 25k shield. Next, you may drop a card from your hand. If you do, select one of your Vanguards and that unit gain plus 4000 power. So it can turn your Vanguard into a 15k column. Or Vanguard rather. Next, for Omega, Counter Blast 2 and Soul Blast 1. When this unit is placed onto the Vanguard circle, you may pay the cost. If you do, select one of your rear guards and put it into your soul. Then, you may minus your opponent's Vanguard's base power from that unit. So example, if you move a Original Saber 0 into your soul, his base power is 11,000. So your opponent's front row, including rear guards, my mistake, minuses 11,000. So he has the potential to minus opponent to beyond 0 power. Pretty cool. Alright, for Cat Lady effect, her effect is once per turn you may Counter Blast 1. If you hit 34k or more, your opponent's Vanguard minus 5k. Simple effect. Okay, for Light Cross effect, when this unit is at the beginning of your attack phase, you may rest one of your rear guards, and if this unit's power is 30k or more, you may pay the cost. If you do, this unit gains plus 10,000 shield power. Now for X Phoenix, Counter Blast 1, when this unit attack doesn't hit and he is 35k or more, you get to draw one card. Yeah, it's either attack hit or never hit, I can't really remember. But usually he's used to unfit for X Gallop's effect, so yep. Now on to X Gallop's effect. Alright, Generation Break 2 Burst. Counter Blast 1, when this unit's power hits 35k or more, you gain one drive check. So it becomes a quadra drive check, in addition to the triple drive check. And if this unit's power hits 40k or more, you may select for every copy of Super Cosmic Hero X Gallop open in your G zone, you may select your front row rear guards and those units gains plus 4000 power for each copy face start. So he can be a potential quadra drive checker, and your rear guard potentially gains an extra 12k. Pretty scary if you ask me. Alright, for the main deck, Original Saber 0, let me break 4. When the Dimensional Police unit rides over this guy, the Vanguard gains plus 10,000 power, and your opponent's Vanguard minus 5,000 power. Next, oh my, sorry about that. Let me adjust this a little bit. Alright, so it should be much better now. As I was saying, Vanguard Circle, when this unit is being boosted, this unit gains plus 2000 power. And it has a Lord effect. If you guys are new to Vanguard and you do not know what Lord is, basically if there is something else other than a Dimensional Police unit on your field, this guy doesn't do anything. Like, it doesn't attack, it doesn't do anything. It's basically locked up. Okay. Now for New Era of Destruction Zeal. So it has a 21k Legion effect with this guy. So it legions like this, although it doesn't have the sword symbol or whatever. And next, in the Vanguard Circle, Counter Blast 1. When you are in Legion and you take a damage, you may pay the cost. If you do, select one of your opponent's Vanguard, and that Vanguard minuses 1000 for every unit you have. So if you are in Legion and you have 5 rear guards, that's instantly minus 7k already for your opponent, because it includes Vanguard there as well. Now on to Galactic Beast Zeal effect. Limit Break 4, you may Counter Blast 2. If you do, select one of your opponent's Vanguard, and until the end of the turn, your opponent's Vanguard minuses 1000 power for every rear guard you have. So do take note, for every rear guard you have, and this unit can only use the effect once per turn. So if Defeat Flare comes out, bye bye. And the secondary effect is, if you have Planet Devourer Zeal in your soul, which is the grade 2, This unit is a permanent 11k. Alrighties. Now onto the grade 2s. This guy's effect, pretty simple and straightforward. In Vanguard or Rearguard Circle, when this unit attack hits the Vanguard, you may counterblast 1. If you do, your opponent's Vanguard minuses 3000 power. Next, for Bug Greed's effect, again, Vanguard or Rearguard Circle, when this unit attack hits a Vanguard and your opponent's Vanguard is 8k or lower, you may draw a card. Now onto Planet Devourer Zeal. Continuous effect. If you have Eye of Destruction Zeal in your soul, this unit is a permanent 10,000 power unit. And when a unit called Galactic Beast Zeal rides over this unit, and you have Eye of Destruction Zeal and Larvae of Destruction Zeal in your soul, your opponent's Vanguard minuses 3000 power. So if you have the full right chain out, you can minus your opponent's power every turn by 3k. That is until you ride the Galactic Beast Zeal and activate the effect, whatnot. Alright, so onto the grade 1s. Foxy Charmer. Alright, why I say her effect is very interesting is because continuous. So be it your turn or your opponent's turn, all your opponent's unit in the same column as this unit minuses 1000 power. So, yep, simple and straightforward. Okay, for Grand Leaf effect, he's a Sentinel, so you guys know what Sentinel does. And when this unit is placed on the G zone, no, that's a Sentinel effect, my bad. Alright, Burst. Generation Break 1 once per turn, Soul Blast 1. If your Vanguard hits 30,000 or more, you may bounce this unit back to your hand, and if it's 35k or more, that Vanguard gains plus 4000 power. So it's a very hefty, it's a bit difficult to pull off his effect, but if you are able to get the stand triggers out, it's actually not a problem. Okay, for Evolution Monster Darwin, what I meant by saying that he is an Odysseus is because his effect is, when this unit appears on a Rearguard Circle, you may select one of your Rearguards and put it into your soul. If you do, search your deck for one card that is the same grade as your Vanguard with Zeal in its name and write it as stand. If you do, you select one of your opponent's Vanguard and minus 3000 power. And also, you can pull a card out from your soul that is the same grade as the card you just wrote. So I'll show you guys how this works later on. Okay, for Eye of Destruction Zeal. If you have Larvae of Destruction Zeal in your soul, this unit is a permanent 8000 power. And if a card named Planet Devourer Zeal rides over this unit, and if you have a Larvae Beast Zeal in your soul, this unit, no, your opponent minuses 3000 power. So yep, again the full right chain effect. Alright, for my triggers, practically all of them do not have effect other than the stand triggers. Okay, for Grand Scold, his effect is very simple and straightforward. Generation Break 1, you may put this unit into your soul. If you do, select one of your Vanguards, and that unit gains plus 4000 power. And if that unit hits 30k or above, you can select one of your units and that unit gains plus 4000 power. So if you put this guy into your soul, your Vanguard gains 4000 power. Then, if your Vanguard hits 30k or more, you can select either your Vanguard or your Rearguard and that unit gains plus 4k. So pretty awesome effect if you ask me. Alright, for Erica, her effect is also pretty simple. You may return this unit from your field into the deck. If you do, select one of your Vanguards and that unit gains plus 4000 power and the effect. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, and if the power is 37k or more, you get to draw a card. So yep, that is it for this deck video everyone. But before I leave, I'll show you guys this effect first, which is when a unit called Eye of Destruction Zeal appears on the Vanguard Circle, like right over, you can search the top 7 card of your deck for either a card named Galactic Beast Zeal, which is the grade 3, or Planet Devourer Zeal, which is the grade 2, and put it to your hand. You must show your opponent first, of course, and return the other 6 cards to your deck and shuffle. And the other effect is, if a card other than Eye of Destruction Zeal rides over this unit, you have to pull him out to the Rearguard Circle. So in some way, he's a forerunner. Alright, so what I meant with the Vayne's effect is very simple. So example, I have the perfect right chain out. Alright, I ride the grade 3. Okay, my opponent minus 3k. Then I call the Vayne. Since I call the Vayne, I get to activate his effect. I search my deck, blah 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 for a card with Zeal in his name, same grade, and ride. So since they're both grade 3s, I am able to ride, and my opponent's Vanguard minus 3000 power. Then I must pull out a grade 3 from my soul to the Rearguard Circle. So to some extent, I minus my opponent's power, I gain a free unit, and I get to ride a Zeal of my choice. So usually you guys would go for the Legion Zeal, so you guys can start Legioning and try to Legion early game, because this Legion is very defensive and it requires a lot of thinking. And yes, so that is it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and please do leave a like and comment what deck you want to see next. And just a little bit of news for you guys: if anybody wants this deck, like this Zeal deck that I'm currently showing you guys can drop me a PM or just add us on Facebook and PM me from there. I'm actually gonna sell this deck to anyone that wants it. You guys can PM me, and maybe you can do a small meetup and start dealing with the deck. So that is it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. It's pretty late at night, that's why I'm sounding pretty dead, and we hope to see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.